So, to preface my blog, I want to explain that I am cisgender and straight, so this book was extremely eye-opening for me, and I would recommend it to virtually anyone. It's so important because I think we're finally hearing these untold stories about what it's like to grow up and be transgender, what it's like beyond that. I mean, it could be about many different things. Sexuality, mental illness, etc. And hearing these untold stories is so important because you never know the story behind someone else's eyes. And the story behind Jan Morris's eyes, as in her book, I would say a big theme is not belonging. And so, I think as a heteronormative society, we see what's external and we see the labels like transgender, lesbian, gay, pansexual, bisexual, but we don't peel back the layers. We stop at that. And now we're reading like the experience is plural. And that's so important because it's humanizing what these seemingly abstract concepts in a heteronormative society. Because the idea of being transgender seems so foreign to me, and not in a prejudiced way, just in terms of my own reality. But when I read Jan Morris's work, it's insane how much is relatable. I guess not exactly what she's feeling, but as she explains it, there are a lot of, I would say, very just real human emotions in there. Not belonging, like looking for a purpose when in many ways life has not gone your way, and for her such a long time that was what was happening. There's one passage on page 31 when Jan says, "I invite my women readers to imagine how they would themselves have felt if, successfully disguised as a young man, they had been admitted to this closed and idiosyncratic male society in their late teens. For this is how I conceive my condition." And that breeds empathy like no other, because finally we're placing ourselves in her shoes, and that's wild to imagine. And that's important to do, because how would I understand her experience otherwise, having never been through something like that before? And I feel like she's also bridging the gap, because in our society where it's heteronormative and there just seems like a big centric island and adjacent smaller islands with like a very long bridge, and it shouldn't be that way because we all are one populace, but when things don't match the general consensus, that's when they start to be polarized or dehumanized. And she is just a regular person with an identifiable problem, because a ton of people are transgender, and it makes more and more sense the more she explains her thoughts and feelings, and it really does force yourself to put yourself in her shoes and wonder what you would have done. And it's an inspiring story as well, because in this tumultuous these tumultuous episodes of her life where she feels lost, helpless, hopeless, she eventually finds what's going on and knows what she has to do despite what all the doctors are saying, and it teaches you to really know and trust yourself. So I think it's such an important work, and I think everyone could benefit from reading it.